And let's go for it. Go.
We're back on the Ride 9 Lounge, still jumping the best team in radio, and our special guest, presidential candidate Diane Sare. We talked about in the last segment about, again, Fowler said, "Hey, what are you doing? Don't you got a good life, great husband, and what are you doing?" But talk about why you felt the need to come to service. Was it something that this country is going through? Is it our current setup? What was the need for Diane to say, you know what? I ran for senator twice in New York, and I made some headway, but why president? Your thoughts?
Because we don't have leadership, and I'll tell you, I was inspired by LaRouche. He ran for president 8 times. Mm-hmm. They called him names. They threw him in jail. They raided his home. They shut down his publications. I knew it was not going to be a walk in the park.
Right.
In fact, the most offensive thing someone said to me when they said, "Why are you running?" They said, "I know it's fun." And I felt like saying, "What?"
Yeah.
That is, do you have any idea? When I ran for U.S. Senate, I had my name put on a Ukrainian kill list.
Yes.
Because I said, Ukraine is not going to win this war. Why are we trying to fight Russia through Ukraine? And there was a list of people spreading disinformation where various people on the list in Russia were getting bumped off. So security, it is not for fun. I can think of a lot of things that I might like to do for fun. Mm-hmm. And it's not that it's not fun, because I think we have to do good. But I said someone has to set a standard. Right. We just had Joe Biden, who was senile, and everyone around him acted like this was normal.
Yeah.
And people said he's senile. It's obvious. He doesn't know which way to walk when he gets off the podium. Oh, no, he's fine. He's at the top of his game. You should see him in a private.
Don't believe your lying eyes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Then, so that somebody decides that that's going to be exposed. So he's set up for a debate, which he loses badly. So then the Democratic Party gives us Kamala Harris, for whom no one voted in a single primary.
Right.
And they call themselves the Democratic primary. What is democratic about ramming a candidate down the throat of your constituents?
Right.
Yeah, Kamala was like, I think you're right. She was like a last minute, like a shoehorn.
Oh, but
that's
what they want you to think.
Yeah.
That she was last minute. Maybe it was all the plan all along.
Well, they got rid of people they had who were viable.
Right.
Bernie Sanders had recruited every college campus in the country.
Right.
Hillary Clinton stole his vote, and that was known, right? And then he endorsed her.
Yeah.
So people have been sold out over and over again. And then this Trump thing, his first term, there was reason to think that he really didn't want war. And he kept saying, I could end the Ukraine-Russia war in a day, which you knew he probably didn't know what he was talking about. But if there was an intention to do that. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we had the genocide in Gaza going on for this whole time. So people had concerns about how close he was to AIPAC and Miriam Adelson and all those people. Yeah. But I think a lot of people said, well, we know what Kamala and Biden are, so we'll hold our nose and vote for Trump, thinking maybe he'll end in a war. Maybe, something.
Which completely makes no sense when you think about the complete democratic process. So that means, they're both bad, but, what's lesser of two evils? And I think it's so important. And I know I heard Jesse Ventura once say this, the former wrestler who actually won the governorship of Minnesota as a third-party candidate. And he said, it's needed, but the two, even though they disagree with everything, they agree on one thing. They don't want a third party.
And they worked very hard to do that.
Yes.
And in New York, I just have to say, because New York State is the only state in the whole United States that for president had only a Republican and a Democrat.
Yeah.
Because Cuomo, before he left office, changed the rules for independent and minor party candidate ballot access. So when I ran for U.S. Senate, if you were a Democrat or Republican, you needed 15,000 signatures. I had to get 45,000.
Yeah.
in 6 weeks. And I am still the only person who has done that.
Which is commendable. No question about it. Yes. Moderator, jump in.
So that process of running for Senate, how did that prepare you for now?
Well, two things. One, we were just talking about, which is this ballot access, which is a really big deal because every state has a different process. And a handful of them really make it impossible, New York being one. Georgia is another one, right? Yeah. And I think it also took some blinders off. I love people, and I think people generally are good. And if they're not good, it's because something happened to them, or it's not
Right.
normal to be mean. It's not normal to be a liar, right?
right.
So, which I don't want to be another way, because I don't want to be a cranky, old, selfish
Right. Get
crust,
off my
right?
lawn.
Right.
Stay off my lawn. Kind
Yeah,
of person.
exactly.
Right.
I don't want to be like that. But I had a meeting with, I won't say who, it was the head of a party that's supposed to be right-leaning, right? Early on. And then it was about this ballot access question. I said, don't you, with the smaller parties, think other small parties should get on? Can't we get the state legislature to put the petition requirement back to 15,000, which is already very hard? Just leave it at that. And they said, well, no, actually, I worked hand in hand with the chairman of the Democratic Party. We met every day. And basically, we met every day to make sure no one like you would ever get on the ballot. And that was a real awakening, because we all say, well, it looks like a uniparty, right? Everyone says that. The degree to which it's premeditated and actually is that, in other words, it's not just it's not just that it appears that way. It is that way. And that's what we learned, frankly, from the Epstein files.
Yes.
It's a billionaire class.
Right.
If I were a billionaire, which I could never be because I'd just give them money away, but if I were a billionaire and wanted to control things, of course I would give the money to both parties. Of course you would do that, right? And so then the things that the billionaires are vested in, both so-called parties, have the same policy, which is driving Americans out of politics. So I think that was something important for me to, you don't want to think ill of people, but you also have to be realistic. You have to appreciate the odds that you're up against. And what I've been discovering is that it's, however bad people think it is, it's worse.
So would you say that for someone like yourself, to wade through this neck deep pond of whatever, that it's more of a conviction of true right and true wrong for you, more so than it is just, hey, yeah, I think I'd be great on stage. I think I'd love to run around a jumbo jet to fly me wherever I want to go, whenever I want to go, however I want to get there. Is it more of a conviction for you?
Yes. I couldn't sit by and watch what we are facing. People are suffering. I mean, we are inflicting horrific suffering on other countries. I named Gaza, but you can take Sudan, you can take Haiti, you can take Ukraine.
Yeah.
Ukraine, they've lost, 1.2, 1.8 million people. There are no men left in some towns. That's horrible. And then here, you hear people say, oh, we're always helping other countries. I say, what? We're not helping other countries. And guess what? If you do this to people in other countries, you are going to do it to yourself.
Right.
It is not, we're going to kill people over there and then be nice to people. No, we're killing people here and we are suffering. Look at this war. We had it with Biden. Oh, we're all going to be happy to pay extra money at the pump because we're sticking it to Russia, right? Now we're all going to be happy to pay extra at the pump because we're sticking it to Iran. Well, no, we're not happy because no one could afford the cost of living before the
getting stuck with it.
Right.
Like he made a comment, oh, the gas price is going to go down. But when the war's over, when's the war's going to be over? Next question, please. Next question. You know what I'm saying? You want to take yourself out the realm. You want to let people know. Because I always felt that government thinks the average American is stupid anyway. They
Yes.
say they feel that they can tell us something, we'll believe it. Like when COVID, the man made a comment, "Oh, drink what was it? Drink ammonia or something, or bleach, or
Bleach.
something." Yeah, and actually, some people did it. Ironically, nobody died. But the thing is that you're not, you're a president of the free world. You're not a comedian. People take merit in what you say, and certain things that are going on, I'm not surprised. I'm just surprised that the people that backed him all of a sudden now are saying something about it. But you should have known what was you should have known what the man was all about the first 4 years.
Well, I think the problem is this lack of choice and this uniparty business. And so people just say, well, I can't do anything better. I'll just take a crapshoot or
Right,
whatever.
right.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Exactly. And we have to do something. And part of also running, in a way, is to let people know, hey, I'm going to represent what an actual president should be doing.
Yes.
Because your standards are too low. If you think that this is an acceptable candidate or that is not acceptable, not for any country, let alone the United States. If we have any pride left in anything that we ever did, why would we allow ourselves to have so-called leaders who belong in mental hospitals, frankly? I mean, that's what we're dealing with. And the Congress, the Senate, right, you have people having mini strokes because they're 7,000 years old when they're, I mean, that is just, they have no business.
It's crazy, and then obviously all the redlining. I know we just heard for the Supreme Court, Virginia State Supreme Court denied the red line in Texas. It's like just, people are trying. It's almost like watching WWE, right? They're manipulating the system. I'll bring a chair to the ring because that'll help my chances of winning. And we laugh at it, but I tell people all the time, especially on this show and other places where, we got to stop being numb. It's okay to have a good time and, Cardi B at the Met Gala, but you got to look at the real life things because things are happening in broad daylight. When I was young, they would do things, different times, hide in the media. Now, and again, you just talk about it on national TV, you deal with it. And I think, again, that's why I think that it's time for a real third-party candidate to be taken seriously. I want to switch a little bit because we're wearing these hats, right? And we had the pleasure of meeting. Sorry, guys, but you had to be there. But
I applaud you.
thank
Go
you.
ahead.
But we met at, again, Mass Consciousness, and again, you was a part of that event. I hosted. It was so eloquently to speak to you and hear your words that you gave there. Talk about your relationship with Mass Consciousness, because that's an organization that's really kind of on the ground floor, in the trenches per se, getting it done. And talk about the relationship you have with them.
Well, I appreciate that there's so many musicians involved.
Yes.
That's my background. And as we have been discussing, one of the horrible things is they've taken music out of all the public schools.
Yeah.
And when you're in music, in particular, I will say, in any kind of ensemble, you realize that there is a strength in diversity, but diversity with a shared mission. Not just I'm arbitrarily different, but everyone can bring something different to addressing a problem. And if there's something that we don't know the answer to, well, maybe you don't know the answer because you always think in a particular way. So if there's someone who comes at it from a slightly different perspective, they may get an insight. And again, and this question of debate, which we were talking about earlier,
Yes.
we don't have debates. Now, if you disagree with someone, it's supposed to be like a leper colony, right? I disagree, don't come near me. What? You don't think you can learn anything? Or we all are perfected in our knowledge of everything already, so therefore, if we disagree, you must be wrong?
Yes.
So I think what I see unfolding in this mass consciousness is people really have a sense of there's something wrong. We're probably more likely to address it if we have a kind of open, collaborative approach to solving these problems.
And that's what the hat says, stand up, speak out. And I think that moniker, while it's nice on the brim, but it's a real moniker that we all should live by. Because again, if you just stand by on the sidelines, you're never going to change anything. And I think growing up as a young kid and hearing my grandparents and mentors of mine always say, hey, we did things so you wouldn't have to. It seems like I'm having those same conversations with my nieces and nephews. We got to do things so you don't have to. And the game never stops. And obviously, again, it's only for the strong, right? So if you're about change and you're about doing something different, then be about it. Get the information, learn the knowledge, and learn about candidates like Diane Sare. I'm going to take a quick break. I want to come back. I want to dive into policy a little bit. I'm going to get a little Brian Gumble on you.
Okay.
It's 9 Feet Lounge. Best team in radio. Don't go nowhere.